address the board.
Mayor,
Yes,
just real quick,
could you state your name, tell who you are?
Mark. I'm Mark DeWitt, Mayor of Hawkins County from Rogersville. Glad to be here in Churchill tonight. I think you all kind of realize that Hawkins County EMS is facing a dire situation. I don't want them to have everything pulled out from under them and they go under and we be without an ambulance service. That happened in Unicoi County. They had an outside firm that came in and ran their ambulances, and they left Unicoi without any ambulance service whatsoever. Washington County stepped in, helped them out, and there is a gentleman from Washington County that was instrumental in setting up the new organization in Unicoi. We want to kind of structure our organization for Hawkins County EMS along those same lines. And he's been guiding us and telling us, what's good, what's not good to do, that kind of thing. We're moving forward, but my main reason for being here tonight is I'm going to all the county BMAs and just to tell you kind of what we have laid out so that, how the rumors start flying. I don't want rumors to take this over. I want you to hear it directly from me. And I'm not asking for anything tonight other than you listen to me and listen to the plan. They're having a hard time retaining employees, and most of that's due to lower pay, lesser benefits, and no retirement plan opportunity. They really want to be involved in TCRS, the retirement plan. They can't do that as an organization like they are now. They don't have, TCRS is probably one of the best funded and best run retirement plans in the country. And they don't branch out and get people who might drag it down. But if we could make them a quasi-government organization, they could join TCRS. They could get lower insurance rates on their equipment and their health benefits, et cetera. They've got some aging equipment, and right now their insurance and Medicare reimbursements don't even cover the cost that they have of running a call. So hopefully we're going to form a quasi-government agency, much like what was done in Unicoi County. TCRS will then recognize that organization as a participant in retirement planning, cost savings and insurance rates, more buying power, that kind of thing. We want to kind of do it in 3 phases. This first year, nothing really will change other than we have to get the involvement of the board of directors of EMS. We have to get them to say that they want to do this. It's going to be a tough nut to crack. They have 9 members on that board who are rescue squad members. There's really no representation from municipalities, from county government, from anywhere on that board. And we're giving them a good sum of money to not be represented. So I need to go talk to that board and get their buy-in. But what I'd like to do, year 1, they are now running 5 24-hour units. They have openings for 33 field personnel. It's not full at this point because workers are going to other counties that have the benefits that they're looking for. And 2 administrative personnel, 2 office personnel. So year 1, kind of business as usual, but try and fill all of those 33 positions so they're not spending so much on overtime, they're not burning people out, their workers can spend time with their family instead of running 7 days a week. So that's what we want to do year 1. Year 2, we want to kind of increase their presence. We want to go from 5 units at 24 hours to 6 units at 24 hours. That would mean 39 field personnel that we have positions for, 2 administrative and 2 office personnel. Then in year 3, we stick with the 6 24-hour units, but add 2 quick response, fast response units. That would take it to 45 personnel and 2 administrative and 2 office personnel. We're going to phase it in, but what I really want to you all to know is, I would like for you all to have a buy-in in it. And it may involve some funding, we haven't figured that out yet. But what it would involve is, the municipalities that are involved would have a seat on that board and have say-so in what's going on. Worked with the gentleman from Unicoi County, Washington County, Unicoi County, and that's the way they did it. They were very successful at it, and we want to pattern ours after that. So that's it in a nutshell. It's preliminary plans right now, but I wanted you all to know what we were thinking about, you know, before you heard rumors of this, that, and the other, because you know how they fly. So if you have any questions, comments, whatever, I'll be happy to talk about it.
I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but when they started, you know, when, Churchill EMS left,
Yes.
and these folks come in, they're staying at our fire station number 2 right now.
Right, right.
We done that in order not to lose.
Yeah. So you've got some stake in the game right now.
Yeah.
Sure do. And I know they appreciate that. There's plans, you know, we wanna keep them here. We wanna try and go back to put one back in Burgonsville, but I think you all know, and Burgonsville knows now, that the idea of them being stationed there was not that they had their own ambulance. It would respond to everywhere. Burgonsville and you all, you know, pretty well centrally located here, they could go either way. Right now, they're staging an ambulance at Hope Church just for being in a central location and saving them
I
some
seen
effort.
that down there the other day.
Yeah, you know, it used to be, and I can't swear to this, but it used to be that when you saw one there, that was the only available unit in the county. But according to Jason Merle now, that they figured out that stationing one there gives them faster response to the majority of the county.
Anybody got any questions for the mayor? Keep us informed.
We'll be back. I just wanted to let you know we're preliminary stages on this.
Glad you're doing better.
Thank you, Dennis, I appreciate it. I'm glad to be doing that.
Anybody got any questions?
Thank you all.
Next, the approval of last month's minute. The motion approved. A motion second? Have a second? Discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion approved. Before we get into the city recorder's report, if you look on your list, we hated to do this, but we had a bid on paving, last Friday, wasn't it, Kimberly? And we had to give that to you today. If you look, there's a couple of streets, Island View Drive and Grandview. Probably this year, I will probably get paid if the board votes to do this, is Island View Drive, because First Utility is doing a bunch of work up there on grant money. We want them to provide, all they're doing there on Grandview. And then after that's done, then we'll get paid. But that street goes in front of the church up there, and it needs paving really, really bad. So, that's why that's there. We can get to that, after the city recorder's report. You wanna read it?
So as of July 12th, 2023, in our U.S. bank funds, we have our general fund with $143,029.56. Sewer fund has $937,545.42. Our checking accounts at First Community, our general fund is $8,436,289.57. Our sewer fund has $1,615,503.45. Our pool fund has our pool fund has $90,347.01. Depreciation fund has $1,305,098.32. Our drug fund has $3,013.65. The total savings at First Community, our general contingency fund, is $1,385,780.95. our general savings fund is $44,714.68. Restricted reserve one is $23,271.14. Sewer hardship fund is $15,534.95. Our local government investment fund 1379551 is $733.63. Our local government investment fund 1379510 is $269.86, with a total of checking and savings of $14,001,132.90.
Do I have any questions? Thank you. Next, I have orders to rezone a portion of certain real property located on 208 Hill Avenue in the corporate limits of Churchill, Tennessee. Also known as the Hawkins County Tax Map 032P, Group A Parcel 015, which is zone R1 to R3. What this is about, this is lots that we discussed that because of the current setbacks, front and back and side, you can't build up on these lots where we've lost houses burnt down or whatever, dilapidated or whatever. So what they've done, the R13 gives a lesser, how to do it, a lesser, the setbacks ain't as strenuous as it would be under an R1. It allows us, with a lot of these properties sitting there outgrown, people can't do nothing with them, so they just sit there, and then it falls in Churchill, our code enforcer has to go in and keep these properties mowed. So, Plan Commission, we voted to do that, but when a person asks for R3 versus R1, they gotta come before the BMA to rezone. And then once that's done, if the board votes to rezone it, then it requires 2 readings, and then we have a public hearing the next reading, right, Chris?
That's correct.
So go ahead and read that.
Whereas the Churchill Board of Mayor and Aldermen has adopted a zoning ordinance establishing zoning districts within the town of Churchill, Tennessee, and regulations for the use of property therein. And whereas the Churchill Board of Mayor and Aldermen realizes that any zoning plan must be changed from time to time to provide for the continued efficient and economic development of the town. And whereas Joe Boggs, who's here tonight, owns said property within the corporate limits of Churchill, Tennessee, and has requested that the property be rezoned from R1 low-density residential to R3 medium-density residential. And whereas the Churchill Planning Commission did review a request that the property be rezoned on July 10th, 2023, and recommended to the Churchill Board of Mayor and Aldermen approving the rezoning of the property. Now therefore be it ordained that the Churchill Board of Mayor and Aldermen amend the Churchill zoning map to show the following property to be zoned R3 medium density residential. The address is 208 Hill Avenue, parcel 015.00 within the town of Churchill, shown on Hawkins County Tax Map 032P Group A, and shown on the map attached hereto as Exhibit A, attached to your copy of the ordinance.
Thanks, Chris. What's the pleasure of the board on ordinance 23-514? We have a motion to adopt.
I move to be adopted.
A motion, a second?
Second.
Second, discussion? Call the roll, Vicky.
Keith Gibson.
Yes.
James Grigsby.
Yes.
Ken Lester.
Yes.
Bud Tipton.
Yes.
Robert Walker.
Yes.
Dennis Terry.
This is really gonna help us, like I said, on these smaller lots, where there's nothing on them, and we'd rather have a house on them as a vacant, because that brings in tax law. Next, we have the, a bid for Island View Drive and Grandview Drive. What this is we're taking this out of State Street aid, am I correct on that, Kim?
Yes, sir.
And so that's money that's put aside. We only got one bid, but we did go through, protocol for the bid, but, you wanna read that, Chris?
I don't have that.
You don't have it?
This is your bid back.
One of these streets, if you look, it's Island View Drive. We've been working on that street for about 2 years. We widened it, and now we gotta go back and pave it. It was, well, it was just too small. Also, to bring you up to date on Island View, we were backing down this street all the way from Silver Lake Road to, Phil Armstrong's place down there. Roddy Miller had a piece of property down there and gave Ace a lifetime stay at a turnaround. And we will be paving that also. So now we go down there, we drive down there, we turn around at the T, and we're able to come back out. So that's a big deal for us. It takes away a lot of liability once this is done. And they're currently using that turn now because we've got it gravelled right now. What it could.
The base bid, the work described consists of furnishing all traffic control, associated vegetation matter removal, clearing, cleaning, prime coat, tack coat, and any necessary incidental work required to install an asphalt overlay on the streets in the table below. That's Island View Drive, which begins at Silver Lake Road and ends at Subdivision End. The contractor shall remove 2 inches of existing aggregate and replace with 2 inches of T-Dot 307 BM. Binder course should be level with the existing roadway. Contractor shall install a tack cut, install a leveling course where appropriate, and install 1 1/4 inches of compacted 411E surface mix over the entire roadway. Quantities of work identified in the table above are estimated and may vary with actual field applications. Contractor is responsible for verifying quantities. Prior to the placement of overlays, the contractor shall repair any potholes or other defective areas. Cost of said repair shall be included in the base bid, and Pavewell, who's done most of the paving here in the city, has submitted a base bid of $85,380.07. And bidder understands the city reserves the right to reject any or all bids and to waive any informality in bidding. This bid may not be withdrawn for a period of 30 days after scheduled closing time for receiving bids.
What's the pleasure on the board on paving, Island View and Grandview? Like I said, if the board votes to do this, we probably won't get Grandview paid this year, but we might. We gotta let the water department do whatever they're doing first. Have a motion to accept the bid? Have a motion, have a second? Discussion?
I have a question.
No.
For 85,000, that's for both.
Is that for both? I didn't
No,
know.
No, that's for Island
Well,
View.
then.
That was just for Island View.
Then,
The second
No,
is
that's-
for,
It just says total.
for
bid
Grandview,
price.
and then
Okay.
the total is there for both projects.
well, let me clarify. The second bid for Grandview, which is shown as bid alternate number 1, is $78,900.69. Thank you, Mr. Luster, for clarifying that. For a total of $164,305.76.
And I might add too, the Grandview, like it goes in front of the church up there, we had a sewer line that fell, and that street's not been paved in 30 years. And I went and visited that street several times, it just needs it bad. I think they will stop at the stop sign behind the funeral home, that's where it ends.
Well, it ends at Oak Street. It runs from Central Avenue to Oak Street.
Yeah.
If we accept this Grandview bid and we don't get it done, will they honor this same bid, same price next year?
So I discussed with them, that we would kind of keep up with them as to where we are in the works with First Utility. First Utility, I spoke with, Jeremy. He said he thinks he might be able to at least start bidding out their part of the work, hopefully by the end of this calendar year, possibly by the first of the year, so hopefully they'll be ready with that. It may be spring. I mentioned to Pavewell that it may be into the springtime before we can do that road. And I asked if there was any way, if the board wanted to, if we can just put a stipulation on the contract where we know that, asphalt mix may go up in price just a little bit.
It may go down.
Or may go down. But to at least kind of have that little, maybe 10% contingency number in there, just in case for the asphalt mix. If you guys would be willing to do something like that, we can,
That's not part of this bid package.
it's not part of this bid
That's
package.
been,
But worst case scenario, we all know, we may just have to rebid it out at the time that we're ready to do that. If we need to, we can just rebid it out.
my suggestion is that you accept, you bid, you take a proposal for each segment separately.
And that's what
You mean have a vote on each
Oh.
one?
Yes.
Yeah, and the reason I don't wanna take it off the table, if we take it off the table, it could fall through the cracks. And that street is so bad up there, in front of that church and stuff, we just don't wanna do that.
It's an illusory contract if it's not enforceable beyond 30 days.
I think the verbiage on it is the bid itself is void after 30 days. If our contract with them gives us an allotted amount of time to have the work done, we should be okay with that, I would think. Is that right, Chris? I mean, once it says they're gonna get us a contract within so many days.
And I mentioned to him, if the board approved, if he'd be willing to do a contract for, like I said,
Would
at the 10%.
you wanna commit now, if something's gonna be next spring?
He said he would think about it, see what you guys would wanna do and take a look, obviously, but he also said, I understand we can just rebid it out at that time.
We
And
don't
that
have a
may-
meeting of the minds.
and
It's
we
not a
could-
contract.
And we can bid it out again at that time when we're ready.
So let's just vote on each individual, that's what our attorney.
Will we honor
I
the
just gave an
price
option.
individually, or is this price reflective
Probably
of doing
not.
both? That's what I'm
Probably not.
saying. I mean, if his contract is going to give us an extended amount of time to get the work done, which we think is reasonable to do it, that's one thing. But if he's not willing to give us a contract for a year, which sounds like it may take that long, I don't think he's going to. I think it'd be wise to bid them out as two separate jobs.
Let me read something to you that's part of this proposal. Due to the volatility of the liquid asphalt market currently, we're unable to obtain firm pricing for future asphalt projects. Therefore, our price is based on the July 23 TDOT bituminous index, 242.73 per ton. Index unit price increases, decreases at the time of construction in excess of $10 per ton will be passed along to the owner. This increase decrease will only affect the bituminous portion of the contract. So,
In the last 10 years, there have not been a decrease in paving. It's easy, not just us, a lot of people is not paving, it's just so expensive.
So that's gonna go up based on the price of the asphalt, that at the time we get the job done.
Based on the oil,
Yeah.
what's based on. So do we have a motion, let's do them individually. Island View, the motion to accept the bid for Island View.
I'll make that motion.
A motion, a second,
I'll say.
discussion.
Keith Gibson,
Yes.
James Grigsby,
Yes.
Ken Lester,
Yes.
Bud Tipton. Michael Walker,
Yes.
Dennis Dale.
Aye. Now, do we have a motion to accept Grandview?
I'll make a motion.
A motion, a second,
So,
discussion.
Let me ask a question about, you said they're doing water line work up through there. If they cut into an existing road, they're responsible for repairing the road, correct?
They are.
Do they contribute any money to this, or, because
They-
we're gonna repave the whole road? I mean, will they go in and patch what they've done now?
Anything they cut, they fix that.
They'll fix it back right then, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the company we use out of Kingsport that does ours, they get a list, just like we do when they do patchwork. As a matter of fact, to give you an idea, Old State, they had to make a cut up there. And, I was up there yesterday, looked at it, told Jason, that's not gonna work, but come to find out, they had to put the vinyl binder on it. So they're gonna come back and do that, but yeah, they fixed all that back, so. Yeah, every cut they make, they gotta pay to put it back. And that's helped the city a lot too, they're pretty good to work with. So thank you, Commissioner.
And Jeremy has also mentioned that, he would not mind if he had leftover funds to help pay for the paving after they finish their work. if we can come like right behind them.
But that's basically what I was asking, you know,
Yeah.
if they're gonna have to pay the patch, and then we're gonna come right behind them and redo the whole thing, why don't we just kick in money to help
He mentioned he would.
do that?
He would consider, you know, helping out with with the price of the paving job as well.
But from what you're saying, this will probably will not be until next spring.
Probably not, because we're working to make sure that the utility work can do their stuff first, so they don't have to come and cut up a street that we just put down.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
talking about the utility work being done.
Right, and he said that he was supposed to, they had applied for a grant and was hoping we were gonna get that grant in order to finish their utility work. And he was hoping to be able to, you know, find out if that grant went through, he was just waiting on the approval of that grant.
But there is a
Hoping that-
possibility he could get done.
Right, he
What
said
he-
he was gonna try, as soon as he was able to, depending on when he was told he would be getting these funds or not, and to be able to step forward and start his bid process, of course, for him, in order to do their work. And they would try to get it done as soon as possible, because they know that we're trying to do this. So they're willing to kind of work with us, and we're gonna keep in touch with each other to kind of.
And we try to do that
Yeah.
in any paving we do in the city. We'll go to First Utility and say, hey, we're looking to pave this street. You got any work that needs to be done? We don't wanna pave it, and then you go in and cut it up. And they've been pretty good about that. So that is a possibility, and, when they start doing it, we'll watch it, and if that's the case, then we won't pay somebody to come in and patch it. We'll just let them kick in on, if it has to be rebidded and be done with it. But it's really good that we found this out. 'Cause I hate to talk to whoever put a new street in and then start cutting it.
Exactly.
That's
Mary
the
Deal,
goal. Yeah.
that grant was the TDEC ARPA grant. It's been approved. First UD got most of that. I don't have exactly the project listed, but they
First
do.
Utility got most of it?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
I think they got everything they asked for. I don't have it in front of me, but that grant has been approved, and you know how grants work, they move a little slow, but, it has been approved.
That's great.
But would it not make more sense to get a bid when we're ready?
Well, we'll have to, we'll have to do it over again. So you're saying not even vote on this?
Like, vote on it, if we're gonna get more bids.
There's too many ifs.
Well, we don't have a motion to second, so, you know, we're good to go.
We had the motion and I seconded it, I'll withdraw mine based on that.
Who had the second?
I did,
Who had the first?
James.
James,
You withdraw your motion?
yeah,
Okay.
so you have a contract for $85,000.
Did they indicate when they might get that done?
I haven't talked more with them, because obviously I couldn't tell, you know, I didn't wanna get too
Yeah.
far into it, being that the board had not approved.
Didn't know.
For them to do the work,
I'm sure
so.
they're busy, but I didn't know how.
If you can, contact him tomorrow.
I will, I told him I was gonna contact
You
him
know,
first thing in the morning.
We're not gonna wait till it turns cold weather
No.
to pay. And also, we stipulated, you did, after I spoke with them, that we're putting a special binder that makes the road hold up longer and better.
Special one.
Yeah, you talked about that last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
It makes reference in this contract, if I could clarify that, it says, the proposal includes using all virgin materials. Pavewell does not use oxidized millings, as we believe it shortens the longevity of your pavement structure. That's what you're making reference to.
It is.
It's in the contract.
So we done voted on that?
Yes.
Anybody got anything else?
What's the latest at the park in Hollister Mill? The railroad crossing, have they done anything?
There's not been nothing on the railroad crossing, but y'all, we're gonna have a meeting. Kim was sitting that up with Evan, Buck, and you, on the design. They've got the design process for restrooms and whatever on it, but
Once I can find out when Evan and the, architect can be this way, then I was gonna get in touch with you guys to let you, see if you guys can come by.
yeah, we need to have a workshop.
Mayor?
Yeah.
I addressed this once before, but I'd like to address it again, because it's getting worse. What can we do about getting the dumping stopped on Old Stage there by the railroad tracks? These guys in the city, God bless them, they come by, they clean that stuff up, and here we go, right behind them, here comes people dumping stuff out. They're coming up, they don't wanna lay it in front of their own houses, so they take it down and they dump it there in front, instead of leaving it up there. You know, it just looks terrible for everybody, going down that street.
I don't know why they would bring it down there, but I've seen that, but.
You know, it's ridiculous. And the poor guys, they clean it, they keep that clean, they try to, but soon, I'm telling you, as soon as they get it off, cause I travel that road all the time, you come by, here it goes again. It's furniture, it's you name it. And we have a convenience center right over here where they can take that stuff.
Are they illegal dumping too?
If they can haul it down there, they can haul it to the convenience center.
I've got several complaints. Will's dealt with a few complaints. We've talked to Jason. We've requested he put up signage if it's an issue. But like Ralph said, they're picking it up. Jason, the last one, he went to their house. It was some people that moved here, and somebody told them that's where to take their stuff. So he told me that problem has been corrected. So.
It's not just one, it's a lot of people.
Okay.
I think you're supposed to be putting the signage up, me and him spoke.
Is he gonna put the sign up?
Yes. That way officers catch them up there or whoever.
Then we can
Sign.
stop them.
Yeah, right.
So you make sure that happens.
Yes, sir.
It just makes the city look ugly, you know, through there.
Anybody else got anything? Entertain a motion to adjourn? Motion, got a second? Second.